Let's discuss the Boolean type in Python. It's one of the simpler classes that is available for data types in Python, where there are only two instances, true and false. On my screen, I have a Python shell which I will use to show the execution of the example program that I have. bool_demo.py. Let me go ahead and run this program by using run menu, run module. As we can see, if you have a non-zero value like x which is equal to 1, the bool function of x will show that that is a true value. Whereas if you have a zero value and you use the bool function on it, then that will show a false value. This is partly so because the bool class is actually a subclass of the integer class int, and all zero values are considered false. Any non-zero value is considered true. There is some other special values which are considered false in Python as well, like none. None meaning there is no value at all is considered false. Of course, false is false, and any kind of zero, whether it's an integer zero, a floating point zero, or an imaginary zero of a complex number, is also considered false. Any kind of empty sequence like an empty string, an empty list, or an empty tuple, those empty sequences are considered false. Empty dictionaries and empty sets, those mappings are considered false. Now with the Boolean operators, we just have or, and not. With Boolean, or it will return the first true or the last false value. In other words, it will short circuit. If it finds a true value, it will immediately return that. Otherwise, it will evaluate all the values. If the first one is found to be false and if the last one is found to be false, it will return that. So as you can see, some examples of the way this works. If you had true or false, that's going to return that first true value true. Likewise, if you had 1 or 0, it's going to return that 1, the first true value. However, if you had a false value first, like none, or a false value like 0 second, then it's going to return that last false value, the 0. Boolean AND is just the opposite. It will be able to short circuit if it finds its first value to be false. It won't even evaluate the second one. If the first value is found to be true, then it will evaluate the second one. And if it's true, it will return that last true value. Otherwise, it would return the first false value it has found. So with true and false, it returns false. 1 and 0 returns 0. And none and 0 returns none. The Boolean operator not basically negates whatever was false to be true or vice versa. So it will return false if its operand is true. So not true, of course, will be returning false. Not 1 will return false, or something like a non-empty sequence or mapping would return false. The Boolean not will return true if its operand is false. So not false will have it return true. Not a false value like 0 will return true, and not a false value like an empty sequence or an empty mapping will return true. Now you see a brief overview of the Boolean type in Python.